Now, in the past 2 months in Quebec, 7 women have been murdered from domestic abuse situations. I am dedicating this next piece to them and to anyone else who's in an abusive situation right now or any survivors of domestic abuse. He loves me not. He knocks me out with one shot. I'm barely conscious, very distraught, bleeding a lot, having visions of my children at my cemetery plot. He loves me. He always tells me so, usually following the solid blows he throws that break my nose and blacken my eye till it's swollen closed. He loves me. That's what he whispers in my ear. Then after too many beers, he reduces me to tears. I scream, but no one hears. I live in constant fear. He loves me, or at least that's what I wanted to believe, until his hands closed around my throat and I struggled to breathe. What a tangled web I weave when I want him to stop, but don't want him to leave. He loves me, or at least that's what I assumed. His smile greets me with an impending doom, and then I wake up in the emergency room. He loves me. Isn't that what he implied when he got me that all-inclusive ambulance ride, when I'm wearing sunglasses and it's dark outside, when I'm fighting to live but wishing I died? He loves me. He's just misunderstood. He just had a rough childhood. He treats me badly, but his intentions are good. He really does love me, I must insist. It's just that he's never been kissed. He was raised by abuse, so he cannot resist. Instead of using his heart, he uses his fist. He loves me. Was that ever true? What kind of love leaves you black and blue? Leaves you fractured, stitched up, your lips split in two. He loves me. He never loved me at all. He only loved to see me fall, watch me bawl and crawl till I feel worthless and small. This is what goes on in the mind of a broken spouse, living a broken existence in a broken house, having to endure traumatic flashbacks, feelings of self-pity and disgust, having no one to turn to, no one to trust. It's been years since he's been gone, so I cannot understand why I still shiver at a raised voice and flinch at a raised hand. Will I ever be normal? Will I ever be free? Will I ever wake up from this nightmare I call reality? And this was my reality for a very long time. I'm just going to share some of these photos I have. And as a survivor of domestic abuse, I would like to take the time to remember the recent lives that were just lost in these past 2 months. Please remember their names: Elisa P. Agma, Marley Edouard, Nancy Roy, Miriam Dillard, Sylvie Bisson, Nadege Jolicoeur, and most recently, Rebecca Harry. Now, whenever I speak about prison abolition, I always get rebuttals like, well, do you want to just let all the rapists and murderers wander free? And when people say that, they're directly referring to the men like the ones who murdered these women. And I agree that they shouldn't be roaming the streets, but putting them in jail is only continuing the cycle of violence. Building more jail only means to me more people being murdered, more parents having to bury their children, and more children having to grow up with no parents. For a long time, I always assumed that this was going to be my fate, dying at the hands of an abusive partner. We don't need more jails to keep them in. We need to stop abuse from happening in the first place. So I'm asking today, please, can we normalize men getting help with mental health? Can we normalize men expressing their emotions in healthy ways and not being seen as weak or feminine? If you know someone in this situation, whether they're the victim or the abuser, don't ignore it. Don't tell yourself it's none of your business. Make it your business. Parents, specifically mothers, stop babying your sons. There's a huge difference between protecting your children and enabling them. Ignoring this isn't doing them any favors. We don't need more jails. We need to normalize people getting help. Thank you.